Breaking news, Bills Mafia. Things are heating up behind the scenes at Buffalo Bills HQ, and you're going to want to hear everything that's going down. There's movement happening inside the halls of Highmark Stadium, whispers, strategy talks, and a massive wave of pressure and expectation for this upcoming season. Our general manager, Brandon Beane, is locked in and laser-focused. He knows the clock is ticking, and that the golden window to win that long-awaited Super Bowl is wide open, but it won't stay open forever. The urgency is real, and trust me, he's working around the clock to build a roster that can dominate the AFC and finally bring that Lombardi trophy to Buffalo. But let's be honest, it's not all smooth sailing. Despite the sky-high ambition, the Bills still face some key issues within the squad, holes in certain positions, tough contract decisions, injury concerns, and a locker room that needs to be tighter than ever. In short, there's a lot at stake. And listen, in the past few hours, I've received some insider updates that could seriously shift the direction of the season. There are names being whispered in the building, high-stakes decisions being weighed, and yes, some major surprises may be on the horizon. Some good, and some that might raise eyebrows. But before I break it all down for you, I've got one quick favor to ask. Smash that like button down below, but only if you believe in Brandon Beane's vision and trust that he's the guy who can take us all the way to the Super Bowl. I believe in it with everything I've got. If you do too, drop this in the comments. Go Bills! We're going to the Super Bowl. Now enough talk. Get comfortable, grab a coffee, throw on your Bills cap, and lock in. What I'm about to tell you is crucial. Let's go. Something unusual is brewing in Buffalo, and if you're a true Bills fan, you'll want to hear every second of it. Imagine walking into training camp and not one, but two massive headlines drop about your team's most hyped rookie and a seasoned veteran who's quietly being whispered about as a potential defensive player of the year. Yeah, this isn't your average offseason filler. This is real, and it's happening now. Let's start with the new face of the franchise, the 2025 first-round draft pick, Maxwell Harrison. When the Buffalo Bills made this pick, the reaction was electric, but what's happened since might just make you believe this kid is already carving his name into franchise lore. Defensive coordinator Bobby Babich didn't just praise Harrison, he essentially anointed him. And folks, this wasn't the usual cookie-cutter "we like his work ethic" quote. Babich said something that turned heads. There's speed, and then there's playing fast. And in his eyes, Harrison is doing both. But let's rewind for a second. Harrison tweaked his hamstring during mandatory minicamp, which naturally sent a ripple of worry through the fan base. He didn't practice the final day. Panic? Maybe. But GM Brandon Beane came in with the calming words fans needed. Harrison will rehab and be ready for camp. So, breathe easy, Bills Mafia. This isn't the injury bug coming back to haunt us. Now here's where it gets wild. Babich didn't stop at praising speed. He pointed to Harrison's processing skills. That's huge. The game is slowing down for him, Babich noted, and anyone who follows football knows that when a rookie starts mentally catching up to the pro game, that's when the magic happens. If you need hard numbers to back the hype, Harrison clocked a 4.28 at the NFL Combine, the fastest of the entire 2025 draft class. Think about that. This isn't just athleticism, this is elite, top-of-the-league speed. But he's not perfect. Not yet. Harrison is slight. He needs to add size. That's the concern. You can't go into battle at this level with a college frame. Babich and the coaching staff know that too. Put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, and he might slow from a 4.28 to a 4.31. But let's be real, that's still blazing. Adding that weight isn't just about absorbing hits, it's about surviving in the NFL. Look at Lamar Jackson's journey. The league's fastest players aren't just fast. They're built to take hits from the world's strongest athletes. Harrison will have to evolve in the same way. And here's why that matters. As a coverage defender, Harrison's ability to keep the game in front of him is the kind of intangible that separates good from elite. His zone coverage ability is already drawing praise, and Babich believes his play style will make it nearly impossible for anyone to beat him over the top, unless maybe your name is Tyreek Hill. That's high praise, but it's not unwarranted. He's already being talked about as a lock for the NFL All-Rookie team. Sports Illustrated and Pro Football Network are putting him in conversations normally reserved for seasoned veterans. He's got competition, other top rookie corners like Trey Amos, Will Johnson, and Barron. Amos brings length and smoothness, Johnson is the most NFL ready, and Barron plays the hybrid nickel role. But none of them have Harrison's speed. None of them ran a 4.28. So here's the question, can Maxwell Harrison make the NFL All-Rookie team in 2025? Think about it. Don't answer too fast. This is your first-round pick. This is your future. And this is just the beginning. Now let's pivot from the blazing fast rookie to a seasoned veteran fighting time itself. Matt Milano. You already know the name. You already know what he can do when he's on the field. But now, he's being thrown into the ring with the league's elite as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Sounds crazy, right? That was the reaction from most. But take a moment. Let it settle. Think about what Matt Milano is when he's healthy, a sideline-to-sideline monster. Arguably unmatched on the Bills roster. A recent piece by Heavy on NFL pointed it out clearly. Perhaps the biggest X factor from this group is Matt Milano. And when Jacob Infante of Pro Football Network says Milano is Buffalo's top candidate for DPOY, that's no fan fiction. That's a respected analyst pointing at a guy who, despite being snake-bitten by injuries, still gets talked about as one of the best at his position. But, and it's a big but, he hasn't been available. Not consistently. Milano's played just 9 games in the past 2 seasons. You read that right. 9. Injuries have ravaged him. Torn bicep, MCL tear, a brutal tibial plateau fracture. The kind of injuries that don't just hurt your season, they change careers. And now he's 30. In NFL years, especially for linebackers, that's the edge of the cliff. Let's be honest, 30 isn't ancient, but for a linebacker who absorbs contact on every play, it's definitely not young. The numbers don't lie. Since 2009, only one player over the age of 30 has won Defensive Player of the Year. That was Charles Woodson. That's 16 seasons ago. History is not on Milano's side, but this is Matt Milano, the player who reads the field like a quarterback, who plays the run like a defensive lineman, who drops into coverage like a safety. When he's healthy, he changes the game. Period. And if he somehow does stay healthy in 2025, look out, because no one, absolutely no one, can question his skill. The question is his body. Can it hold up? That's the gamble. That's the bet the Bills are making. That's what this season could ride on. So Bills Mafia, I want to hear from you. Can Maxwell Harrison live up to the hype and lock down a spot on the NFL All-Rookie team? And what about Matt Milano? Can he beat history and snatch Defensive Player of the Year at age 30? Because this right here is the kind of moment that defines a season before the first whistle is even blown. You've got a rookie whose name is just starting to echo through the league, and a veteran fighting to remind the world why he was once feared across every offensive coordinator's whiteboard. Let's keep digging into why these two players, Maxwell Harrison and Matt Milano, could become the defining storylines of the 2025 Buffalo Bills season. Starting with Harrison again, there's something deeper happening than just speed. Bobby Babich didn't have to go out of his way to elaborate on Harrison's development. Coaches at this level don't show their cards unless there's something real behind it. When he said Harrison is processing faster, that's not just praise, it's a signal. It means the mental side of his game is catching up to the physical freakishness we saw at the Combine. And when that happens, you're not looking at a good rookie. You're looking at a rare one. Remember, he didn't just lead the 2025 draft class in speed. He separated himself. That 4.28 wasn't just the best. It was elite even by NFL standards. We're talking faster than a lot of wide receivers in the league right now. Add that to a growing mental command of a pro defense and the fact that Buffalo is already trusting him to learn quickly and contribute immediately, and you've got a potential lockdown corner in the making. Not in year 3. Not in year 2. Now, and fans know, it's been a minute since we've had a true lockdown presence in that secondary. With Tre'Davious White gone,